Welcome. I'm so happy that you took the time to watch my presentation. And I know it's only 10 minutes, but maybe you find something that will inspire you to step out of your comfort zone. And you know what? Something like that could definitely change your life. And stepping out of the comfort zone can be very difficult. But that's something we do as grown-ups. As childs, we don't have that limitation. I remember when I was only 10 years old. I went with my father to see the paratroopers jump, and I wanted to do that too. When we were home, I went upstairs, got me a bed sheet, got some rope, tied the four corners together, tied the rope around my waist. You know what? I jumped off the barn. Poof! That didn't go very well. I'm currently reading this book. Here it is, Made to Move, and it is written by my dear friend Dr. Colin Robertson. And he's got a very intriguing style of writing, and this sentence it blows my mind. He writes, and I want you to listen very carefully. But what I have come to terms with and accept as the first and foremost rule of life is the need to live fearlessly. Listen very carefully. I'm going to read it once again. The first and foremost rule of life is the need to live fearlessly. When I was a child, I had no clue what I was doing parachuting. I had no idea what to do. When I grew up, I still craved for it, to go out and parachute. But when you're in your comfort zone, all kinds of limited thoughts come up that will deprive you, perhaps, from going outside. All those reservations tell you that it's perfectly fine to stay there because that's what you know. But if there's something out there that you want to experience, it eats on your heart. So your comfort zone becomes your discomfort zone, and you have to step into the fear zone. But you don't want your fear zone to be the fight everything and run zone. Because you know very well that your comfort zone is no longer a comfort zone. If you accept the idea of having a bodyguard instead of all kinds of limited ideas like the internal critic and the saboteur and noise FM, those are things you always have to fight with. But a bodyguard is a loving friend who wants to keep you safe. But in the first 7 years of growing up, it gets a set of rules that helps you then to survive in the circumstances you live in. But now you're grown up. There are too many rules in there. So you gotta confide in your bodyguard and say, hey bodyguard, man, I love it that you kept me safe all this time, but now I want to go out there, out of sight of my comfort zone. I want to experience that. So then you take your bodyguard, put them on at your back tight, and you tell them, you can accompany me, put your hand here, watch with me, but only intervene when things get life-threatening. For that's the task of a bodyguard, of course. But why do adults choose fear? Well, let's explain that a bit. And I need to flip over to tell you more about your memory. Everything you do, see, hear, feel, experience, you make a memory of that. And you make thousands, so maybe millions memory clusters every second, so trillions in your life. And if a memory cluster is like a circle with 3 compartments, something happens in there. I wanted to go parachuting. And how do you do that? So I needed some info. The info was only thing I saw. I saw those guys parachute. And I needed to identify what they were doing. And the only identification I could make was jumping off something into the water or jumping off, the barn. So that takes place here. But here also an emotion is attached to that. And that emotion can either be something positive or it can be something negative. And the emotion gets attached disregardless if there has been identification. And your identification will take place. Even at fault. Even if it's only assumption. Your mind will want an explanation and dive into those trillions of memory clusters and digs and digs and looks and looks and looks. Parachuting must be like jumping off the barn, must be jumping into the water from a high cliff, something like that. I can tell you it was just an assumption. Then I went to America, out of my comfort zone. I was in my comfort zone, went to America, out of my comfort zone. I had a choice to fight everything and run back into my no longer comfortable comfort zone, or feel excited and ready to go into the learning zone and learn everything about parachuting. And after I jumped for the first time, I entered the growth zone. I could feel everything, what it was about. I could experience it to the fullest. I could adapt to the circumstance. And I could rejoice in doing it. And doing so, my old comfort zone became bigger. My old worldview became bigger. And it became a new comfort zone. And it stayed that until I saw something else I wanted to do and crave. So, live life fearlessly. Now you can too. Because now you know the difference between fear and excitement. Now you can, because now you know that exploring the unknown is exciting. Now you can, because you know you got a friend in your bodyguard and you can reprogram him. And now you can. Now you can feel relaxed.